Well, hello again, and thank you for taking the time to join my podcast vlog. Look, today's topic I'm talking about women. I'm talking about where we're at from the age of 40 onwards and what is it that we want from life, because we're basically at a halfway point. I'm hoping we've got a little bit more than halfway to go, but again, 50 is not the halfway point necessarily, because it's not that the masses of generations are living to 100 and beyond. I mean, there certainly are people that do that, and I hope every single one of us can and will. But at the end of the day, we're still looking at around that 80 to 90 age bracket that we're going to be in. So look, for what it's worth, let's just say we're at the halfway point. And so therefore, my question to all the women that I work with is, what is it that you want? And the reason I ask that question is because they come to me feeling really lost, really flat, and not even realizing that that's the question that they necessarily need to ask themselves, because life is a journey, as you know, and we travel through in the routine of life, which we unconsciously just get up and do every day, don't we? So if you've had children, then you might be at the age where they've left home, or they might still be with you but they've grown up. And then again, if you haven't had children, there's a good chance that you might be still working, or you've worked for most of your life and you might now be retired, and so you would have been caught up in work, and you would have been working possibly full time, which leaves very little time for you. But this is where again a lot of women feel as though they're trapped. They just feel as though that routine of life has become mundane, and so therefore they just don't know where their journey's taking them. So I use the analogy of traveling on a road, which is basically what we're doing. We're traveling a journey, but we are the vehicle, okay? So our body, our mind, our emotions, we are the vehicle. And moving forward with our vehicle can only be controlled by us. But too often, we do surrender the keys to other people or to other situations in our life because we get stuck. And so therefore, again, if you've got that routine of family around you, then or you've had that around you, there's a very good chance you've many a time surrendered your keys in order to keep peace, or to go with the flow, or to do the things that you desire to do, if that makes sense. But do you get the keys back every time? Not always. Sometimes, we move over to the passenger side of the car and let somebody else drive our vehicle. And that means that we're in a situation where we're not completely happy, but we'll just go with it. And I often say to my ladies, it's like standing at the back of the queue. What we tend to do is we do everything for our workplace or for our home place or for our friends or family or whatever it might be, but we tend to give all the time and forget to take back for us. So I class that as being at the back of the queue, watching what's going on so that everybody around us is comfortable and happy and, and moving in the direction you want to see them go, which is wonderful. But at the end of the day, we come last, okay? And what we need to do is we need to come out of the back of the queue, move on up to the very front with everybody, not to stand in front of them, but to stand next to them and stand side by side with those people as an empowered woman so that you can move forward. But if you don't know what you want, if you've never asked yourself the question, what is it that I want now that I'm basically halfway through my life? And again, if you're in your 60s or 70s, you've gone past the halfway mark. But again, it's not too late to ask yourself, what is it that you want out of life? Because over time, we've probably created a bucket list. We've probably created things that we want to do. But again, for whatever circumstances around us, it might be that we've suddenly found ourselves on our own, and our partner may be has passed away, or you've divorced, or whatever the situation is, the children have left home, whatever it might be. But you might find yourself very alone. You might have retired, and then the conversation at home with your partner is not as fluent as you'd like it to be. It's not as embracing as you'd like it to be. So I can understand it. I'm sure you can understand it. But until you actually stop and take the time to ask yourself, what is it that I want from life at this point? Where have I gone on my journey? What have I experienced? Now, it's not all negative. You will have had some amazing experiences. I'm pretty certain. I know I have. And it's looking back on those amazing experiences and putting them down to how fortunate you are to have had the opportunity to do that. But there will be curveballs thrown at you when you would have ducked and weaved, and some of them would have hit you hard. And even today you might be, you could be suffering with an illness, you could have an injury to your body, you could have a disease that's inside your body that there's no real cure for, and you're dealing with that every single day as well. But again, it's having that gratitude to look forward and say, well, there's so much that I can still do, but what is it that I want? What is it that I want to do? That's not necessarily selfish, but again, whether you choose to include someone on your journey or not, the important thing is to know what you want, because there's nothing worse than to get to the finish line and find that you have nothing but regrets, okay? Because what happens too is we get on our journey of life, and if we're getting more and more emotional and we're getting more angry or frustrated or felt as though we're stuck and we're shackled and we can't do what it is we want to do, well, what happens is we tend to, not all of us, but a lot of us will tend to turn to food, and that's our comfort. We turn to food as our comfort, we turn to alcohol as our comfort, we turn to possibly some substances and drugs for our comfort. Whatever it is, if we're not completely in the space we want to be, sometimes we turn to those things. And then, of course, on comes the weight, on comes the negative head talk, on comes that inability to control yourself, and you get overwhelmed, you get anxious, you get depressed, all those things. Now, I know that all sounds very negative, but it can be turned around. And this is why I'm speaking with you on this topic today, because if you're in that situation of feeling stuck and shackled, if you feel as though there's nowhere to move, you're not quite sure how to move forward, which pathway to take on your journey, you've never asked yourself the question, what's in it for you? What is it that you want? Now's the time to really think about it. Now's the time to really, as I said, appreciate what you've had and done, but let's have a look what's in it for you, for your future, because again, we only get one chance at this game of life, so we want to just make sure we're as happy as we possibly can be. And if you've got weight going on you because you are turning to food or alcohol that's full of sugars and it's making you gain weight, or worse still, you've got the depression and the anxiety, the emotional side of things that plays havoc with your mindset, and that really is a very distressful situation to be in, to be suffering with anxiety or depression. It's not a joke, and it's like it's not something to be ashamed of, because so many people suffer with it because of the pace of life and the expectations upon ourselves, whether it's from us or other people, and so many other factors are in there as well as to what creates that. But we need to be able to release it, and so therefore it's time, if you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s or 70s, no matter what age you are, it's never too late to have what it is that you want. It's just a matter of taking the time and thinking about it with gratitude as to the past, but thinking about it of what you can do for the future. Because often when you're completely embraced within yourself with happiness and fulfillment and gratitude, you tend to want to give back. You tend to want to give to others around you, because there's just this little skip that you have within yourself. And it doesn't have to be a monetary give back, it can just be a you give back. It can be like I do, I love to speak with women about improving their health and their mindset and their body and all the things that can get them down. I love to give back with that, with some free advice. And I'm often saying, if you want to have a chat to me, go on my website. There's an opportunity to chat with me free for 15 minutes. I mean, please don't think that that's just words. It's a commitment that I'm giving to women. So feel free to do that. And again, when you're in your happy place, it comes natural to offer that. So that's my thought for the day. I'm just giving you advice to have a think of where you're at. Think about your journey past, your journey for your future, It's not selfish. Come from the back of the queue and go to the front of the lines to stand side by side with all the people that you care for, because you deserve it. You absolutely deserve it, and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. And if they have in the past, we need to release that from you, because you are amazing, and let's make sure that the rest of your life is amazing too. Thanks for joining me, and if you want to check out any of my other podcasts, then please do that. Link to the links below for that. And then there's a YouTube channel as well with loads of, there's cooking and there's home lifestyle stuff and there's exercise and lots of tips and advice on fitness for women over the age of 40. So thank you again for joining me today, and I look forward to joining you in a few days time on my next podcast vlog. So I'll talk to you soon. Stay healthy. Bye for now. Thanks for watching. I hope you subscribe to my channel and follow me on social media plugged in on your screen right now. Thank you, and stay healthy, stay happy.